Be right there.
I've got a package for you from Cast Crate.
From what?
Cast Crate, removing the obstacles of podcasters since 2020. Just sign on the line, please.
Okay.
Here you go.
Wonder what that's all about.
One of those monthly boxes full of Funko Pops and garbage. Wait, this isn't one of those AI podcast devices, is it?
No, it looks like a film, some notes, and some random paraphernalia. One Piece Dojinshi, a balaclava, and a Mars Volta album.
Well, this all seems suspicious, but if it helps us get another episode in the can, let's try it out.
Warning. This episode contains discussion of sexual violence.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hit it!
Hello and welcome to Swimfans, your erotic thriller podcast. I am Boomerang Cock, Matthew Tuceroni.
I am legally distinct US3 Cantaloupe, Marty Bergerman.
And I am Carlos 555 1963, Leon Rowan.
And this week we are taking a look at the 1994 film Object of Obsession.
Yeah, I can't believe this is the first time
that
we've touched on this on the pod.
Yeah, I know. It's up there with Basic Instinct in terms of influence on
Who
the
are
erotic
better?
thriller genre.
Yeah.
If you've never seen Object of Obsession, here's a quick synopsis. So it stars Margaret, who is a recently separated book saleswoman who leads a very boring life. And she receives a call from a man named Blaze, who she believes she saw at a bar. She wants to spice up her life a little bit, so after a few times that he calls, she decides to meet him in person. They go back to his apartment and have sex, and she laments that this will be kind of a one-time thing. But the next morning, whenever Margaret gets up, she discovers that she's been abandoned and the door is locked. So she freaks out, wrecks up the apartment, and hurts herself in the process. And Blaze comes back, but basically convinces her to stay around to help nurse her back to health. And this leads to just most of the movie being several scenes of different sexual scenarios, some consensual, some not. But eventually, after they get in a fight, Margaret finally leaves, and Blaze tells her that the door has been unlocked after the first few nights, and that she was always staying there of her choice. She goes back to the real world and has trouble readjusting, and eventually goes back to the apartment. But whenever she gets there, she breaks into this desk drawer that had been locked through her previous imprisonment. And she sees a bunch of pictures and tapes of Blaze having sex with different women, as well as some family photos with him in them. Then she finds the camera that he's been filming the sex secretly, and it has a phone number on it. So she calls the phone number, finds out where he lives, meets his wife, and then finds out his real name is Charles. And then while there, she manipulates Charles to have sex with her right there at the house, and then go back to the apartment, where the next day Charles wakes up and finds that he has been locked, and we see Margaret walking away as he's screaming. So, what do we think of Object of Obsession?
I brought this. So, you guys remember Skinamax? Because that's what we're getting here with this
100%.
Film. There's some stuff that we can talk about, but yeah, it's
there's
mostly
a lot of stuff we could talk about.
Yeah, you know how like in a kung fu movie where the plot is basically used to string together action sequences. That's what we have here, but it's just for sex.
That's a nice way of saying this. This movie is softcore porn. Whenever I started, I was like, "Oh, this is it's a rock thriller. It's gonna have some sex in it." And then as it went, I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right."
I do really like that this film's from 1994 and it's very obviously taking place at that time.
Oh man.
Everybody's dressed like they're from Mad About You. The lighting and the like kind of haziness of everything is very late 80s, early 90s.
And every heroine has to have the perfect like pixie cut, and
Yep.
it's awesome here though.
Yeah.
And at the end, whenever she's the one in power, she's wearing the most powerful suit you've ever seen. Those shoulder pads could take someone out.
And the deep red lipstick. Yeah.
Of course.
Yep. We do get a kind of a dual ghoul situation. You've got the male ghoul throughout most of the film and the female ghoul. Actually, I wish there was more of the female ghouling, but we do get a little bit of both here, which is great. We love that. We love to see a ghoul.
Yeah, honestly, the last act of the movie is, I don't know, it's like super, super juicy. And you kind of wonder if there's any way to let on to like that move slightly earlier or something. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't able to track down a trailer, but I imagine like a trailer would really emphasize the kind of like femme fatale revenge of like the third act. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of thought, Carlos, you brought this in because of the Italian title that it goes by, which is Snake in the Eagle's Shadow.
Oh yeah, that's one of the reasons.
but yeah, but I don't know. As I was kind of like assembling my notes, I think I sort of like figured out your move here, and I think I'm going to have an eye on this going forward. Which is, I think you're all about the IMDb plot keywords, like those tags, and I was just kind of combing through like the rank of the tags from like most useful to least useful, and it was female full frontal nudity, female topless nudity, female full rear nudity, sex tape, sexual tension, captive, double life, female nudity, female rear nudity, bare butt woman. Yeah, so
bare butt woman.
Yeah.
Why does that one feel the worst of all of them?
And which ones did you add just in this past week?
Yeah, it was the bare butt woman. You know, yeah. You know, so look,
the biggest perv of us all, Carlos.
Yeah, we're three wife guys, right? We gotta get some fun out of this podcast, right? So
it was a really good date movie for Alina and I will say.
I bet.
Oh my.
Yeah, my wife actually. I was watching this, and she had dozed off on the couch, and she woke up, and there's so many scenes in this film where just music is playing. There's no dialogue because obviously we've got a handful of sex scenes, and she just wakes up for a moment and says, "Is there any talking in this movie?" And then she went back to sleep, which I thought was hilarious.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I watched this while Callie was away.
This is also...
I told her about it. There's not some secret shame or something.
Yeah, this is one of those films that you can totally imagine you're watching it and somebody will walk in at the wrong moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's a real, you have your finger on the last channel button on your remote.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and you know what's hilarious too is that this I believe there's a DVD release of this movie, but we watched it streaming, and so obviously this is a digital situation, but I swear at a couple of these sex scenes the tracking went bad. Which I don't know.
And you just
how
had
that's
to rewind
possible.
7 to 8 times to kind of just really make sure.
I didn't think that was possible with the streaming version
funny.
of a film.
Well, that's worth mentioning. It is free on Tubi. I watched it on Tubi. Y'all watched it on Prime, right?
Yeah, Amazon Prime, and I made sure to ask you where you watched it because
I think Prime sources some content from Tubi. I thought maybe not. I don't know.
No,
I could see that, but I had to check to see what the audio was like on Matthew's side because this movie has the worst audio mixing.
The worst mixing I have ever heard in a professionally made film. Because it's worth mentioning, like, yeah, this movie is basically just porn. There's some genuinely really well shot scenes.
Yeah. Also, the cinematographer is like literally a legendary, incredible, masterful cinematographer. When you hear his name out loud, it's going to sound like a total gag. But yeah, Wally Pfister, who was actually Christopher Nolan's one and only DP up until Wally Pfister sort of retired and now he uses Heute van Hoytema. But yeah, so Memento is just, I think, just 2 or 3 years after this film, maybe.
What?
Oh my god.
Yeah, the Dark Knight, The Prestige. He also DP'd Moneyball. Yeah,
He was up late one night watching Cinemax, and he saw this. He's like, "Ooh, that's really good."
That's wild.
her mind.
Well,
is
that's like
spitting into
we say on the
four
show
corners.
a lot.
Yeah,
Like we say on this show a lot. All the best filmmakers are perverts, so it's not too far of a jump.
Oh yeah.
But you know who apparently was not a pervert was the audio engineer because it's worth bringing up again. At the very first scene is her Margaret at a bar with her friends, and I'm pretty sure they're trying to get her to like go talk to this one cute guy, but you cannot tell what they're saying.
yeah.
And I clicked on the
And you
subtitles.
cannot
and the
tell that
subtitles
he's cute.
literally. No. He looks like he's one of the crew members, so they just put in front of the camera. That's mean. He has very long hair and a beard. But she's like they're all talking to each other, but the subtitles just it literally says inaudible, which just cracks me
That's
up. The
amazing.
subtitles like, nah, I don't know either, man.
Yeah, it's wild. There's a couple of scenes like that throughout the film. And the other thing that I love about that opening scene is, and Marty alluded to that with his nickname, but there's like totally just a legally distinct version of the US3 song Cantaloupe.
Yeah.
It's like, just give me that, but not.
It is.
Yeah.
I gotta do a side by side.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it is too.
Yeah,
whenever
it'd be amazing.
whenever you posted the song in the chat, and at first I was like, okay, I don't really hear that in this movie, and then I got to the credits, and I was like, oh yeah, there it
Yeah.
is.
Man.
But otherwise, shout out to Ashley Irwin, who's the composer on this. You know,
They
clearly
they
like
did not care that this was a softcore porn.
Yeah, and I'm sure a very limited budget. But honestly, it doesn't suffer from the kind of like virtual instrument, virus that I think kind of contaminates so many like independent scores of this period. There's like it stays like pretty modest, and it sounds like there's a couple of real woodwinds on it. And that main kind of creepy piano figure is really, very kind of Basic Instinct, Jerry Goldsmithy. I thought it was pretty cool. And just very libidinal, really. There is that case where it's like, there's maybe, if she has sort of like one idea, it's like, it's not, they repeat the literal like recording that she handed over.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like actually like spotted in a fresh way throughout the movie.
I love this score whenever she's having sex with the like insurance guy and is all bored and has this kind of like burp burp burp
It's
burp
like,
burp kind of
kind of playful, like childish playful.
I thought she was
thing
just like
going on.
playing that like for his benefit.
Since we're talking about music,
That's the
too,
only way he can
that-
kind of,
Yeah.
complete his business. Yeah.
when she gets the wrong number call, she's at home and she's like watching some kind of erotic scene from her bed, and the music that's playing, to me, I was like, whoa, this sounds like Streets of Rage. This is like some kind of 90s.
Totally.
And then the guy calls and he says that his name is Blaze, and I was like, Blaze
man.
from Streets of Rage?
Streets of Rage.
What is happening here? We also should mention that when you find out that his real name is Charles, you also find out that his son's name is
His
Blaze.
son's name's Blaze.
And I
That's
was like,
fucked up, dude.
whoa.
It's really messed up.
This is wild. And the fact that you mentioned it earlier too, that the phone number is on the hidden camcorder, and that's
Oh
the
man,
key
you gotta
that-
take that off, man.
Wow. Like you're setting
you
up
can't-
this
You can't have your
loft.
family house phone number.
But
on
I
your
don't know,
secret
guys.
sex
What if
tape.
that's like all his kink? Like he really wanted to be found.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
it's like the long con.
And it's like
Yeah.
kind of both sides too, because when she first jams open that drawer, she like there's this locked drawer, and she ends up opening it eventually, and that's where she sees all the photos and these videotapes. And in any other movie, you would get it. Oh, he's a creep, or oh, he's this like kind of this is a dangerous situation. I'm gonna go to the cops or whatever. But instead, we're watching this film and she watches like 4 of the different tapes, each different scene of like a sexual encounter. That was pretty funny to me. I love that.
He uses a stupid very fake accent.
Oh yeah.
Which I do kind of appreciate that one of the girls in the videos just says like, I don't care if your accent's fake.
Yeah. And that like earlier in the movie when she hears somebody outside the door when she's trying to get out of the apartment, you hear that fake British accent. And I noted it and I was like, oh, that was him.
It's so there's some weirdly like thought out stuff in the scripts. Like the way that she gets into the drawer is that she finds a screwdriver in a work bag that's been left at the stairwell in the apartment is being worked on, and there's some guy left his bag there, and she grabs that. But earlier in the movie, he mentions that they're going to start working on the stairwell soon, and I'm like, I'm almost proud. I'm almost amazed that you thought that much about this movie. That like
it shows that there were 2 drafts at least. Of
At some point, someone read through the script. That's probably like 40 pages of this 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, that doesn't make sense. Where did she get the screwdriver? Wouldn't she have used it to break out earlier?
Marty mentioned the pedigree of the cinematographer. Did you guys happen to look into the pedigree of the director? Our director, Gregory Dark.
Dude,
Gregory Dark.
The one highlight that really leapt out to me was the freaking Wrong Way video by Sublime.
Yep. He's got a whole list of
which is
music
also
videos
like very kind of like lecherous and like voyeuristic in a way.
Right.
But all these like pushed in kind of almost like Gonzo-esque like wide angles, and it's like super saturated and stuff. But yeah, responsible for quite a lot of videos.
Late 90s, early 2000s stuff. Linkin Park, Britney Spears, Orgy, Blue Monday was him. Some other stuff too, like Ice Cube and a lot of. But you mentioned Gonzo. Besides music videos, he's also done a lot of pornography. I shared a screen cap of some of his stuff, and some titles were New Wave Hookers 3, Between the Cheeks 3, Secret
really went
Games
downhill
2,
after 2.
The Escort.
He specialized in like putting a bow on the end of trilogies. Basically, that was his.
Yeah. So I don't know. We've seen worse, but
yeah, I do think like the raw ideas. All respect to Scott Valentine who plays Blaze, but he's maybe a little too nice a guy or something.
He's so nice that he was the funny neighbor from Family Ties. That's where I recognized him.
Dude.
Yeah, he's like Justine Bateman's character. He's like the kind of Sylvester Stallone artist like boyfriend.
Oh, whoa.
And even our lead,
snapping up from my brain.
what's her name? Erica Anderson. I recognized her face, and I looked her up, and she was in one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Yeah,
she
Nightmare on Elm Street, the dream child, everyone's favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
She gets killed by Freddy. I'm sure he says bitch at some point.
Probably. It is very firmly in that era of Freddy.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, I think if the Blaze character felt even, I don't know, like a dash more menacing or something. I don't know, you might have had something, but it's interesting. Like you have this funny kind of tension where it's very much concerned with Margaret's point of view, but she just doesn't behave the way most women you've ever met would behave. And so it's this, I don't know, it's this interesting kind of like dreamscape, which is like very fitting for kind of the approach of the film, where it's like, it doesn't appear to be kind of like the male gaze voyeuristic thing, but it's like instead like the very well-intentioned like female empowerment that's still just like pretty belittling of her.
Yeah. No, it's like it is this sounds dismissive, but it is porn logic where it's like, well, you're in the world of the porn, and so like sexual assault is not quite as horrifying as it is in real world, or things that are definitely iffy or crossing a line instead are just like, oh man,
Yeah.
or like where it's like, oh well, she escapes after getting emotionally manipulated, but instead she's like, well, I'm going to emotionally manipulate him, and I'm going to have sex because he's very good at having sex.
Yeah, the whole thing when she leaves, you see her and she's wanting for that life.
Mhm.
She goes back to him, and then that's when all of those that's when the girl ghouling starts, which is great. But yeah, I think I feel the same as you guys. It'd be cool if there was a bit more girl ghouling. But yeah, it is pretty funny how that you kind of know how it's going to end, and it does just kind of drop you with that ending. And then that US3 song plays.
Yeah. But I don't know for a fact, but I was seeing somewhere in like a interview with Wally Pfister where he was saying, because he lends a handful of movies for the director, and he was describing them as having these like 15-day shooting schedules. So I don't know for a fact that was the case here, but if so, I don't know. It is really impressive, like that you're able to bring it to a landing at all, honestly. And it's mostly like a very competently shot thing. And some part of me definitely got some kind of like nostalgic high off of the like slightly shimmery film grain Vaseline on the lens through like a transfer that looks like it's ready for Cinemax lighting kind of thing.
That like it was very much shot on film, but people watch it on a TV, like on a CRT television. Like there is definitely a very distinct look to that, and a lot of 90s stuff has just this like distinct kind of look to it. But yeah, we have any other final thoughts?
I'm ready to rate this thing.
Hey, I'm gonna check with our notes. I love how much of a dork he looks like whenever he's at home with his wife.
Yeah.
Like he has like glasses and this buttoned up shirt, and
it's like a pervert derogatory Superman Clark Kent situation.
That's all I got. I'd give it a I mean, I feel like I can't give it more than a 2 or a 1.5 out of 10 or out of 10 out of 5.
Yeah, I would say 2. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, I'm feeling that. Wow.
All right, we'll do a 2. We'll do a 2 for the show.
Hey.
Oh, hey Josh, what's up?
I think our cast crates got swapped. Is this arcade stick yours?
Oh, I think that's Carlos's. Yeah, I was wondering why we were saying things like libidinal so much.
I like saying libidinal.
Well, whatever. We can swap back now. We'll just use what you've done, and you can have our recordings for your feed.
Okay, but I know we don't have an account with them, do you?
Now that you mention it, we don't. But why would somebody know this much about us and also want to mix us up?
Damn it, I was so close.